Thank you again, John. Obviously, we're here to introduce Corey Seager and his wife Maddie to our Rangers family. I have a special announcement per Rangers Hall of Famer Chuck Morgan that he asked me to share with everybody on rapid timing. We have a Corey Seager bobblehead night on July 9th this summer. And a Marcus Simeon bobblehead on August 13th, so get your tickets now. That's true, by the way, if you want to promote that. In a continuation of the theme here, we had an opportunity a couple weeks ago to sit down with Corey and with Maddie, and just really impressed by the quality of the individuals. They're kind of what they want to do in the community from a philanthropy standpoint. Corey's goals on the field. Really, what stood out in large part was Corey's kind of his intensity and his focus in the conversations, the questions he asked. I think you're talking about one of the elite left-hand bats in the game that also happens to play one of the most demanding positions in the game. Obviously, his relationship with Woody, we had a pretty good insight going into the process, but came out of it equally or more so convicted that this was just a perfect fit for us and just somebody that we wanted to recommend to ownership, to invest in as one of the pillars of this club. And I go back to our scouting director Kip Fagg when Corey was in high school, him raving about him, and Kip wanted to land him that year, and we thought we were going to get him, and Scott called and broke our hearts a few picks earlier as the Dodgers jumped in. But fast forward now, and we're excited to be able to welcome him here. And you're talking about has decorated a young player in the game through age 27, what he's accomplished, and yet because of that intensity and his work ethic and what he wants to do and his physical and mental talents and drive, we genuinely believe that the best is ahead of him, and he's going to enjoy those productive years in Ranger uniform and in front of our fans and helping lead this team to great things. So I'm going to turn it over to CY.
Thanks, JD. Again, not a ton I can add here, as JD did a great job describing who Corey Seager is and why he's the right person for the Texas Rangers. Couldn't be more excited to have Corey and Maddie as part of our family. We're looking forward to the next 10 years together and building something unbelievably special and doing things that this franchise has never done. Coming away from our meeting with Corey a couple weeks ago, as JD mentioned, the thing that stood out to me was this intensity that you could feel. The intensity that came through, that exuded in every single answer he had, every question he asked. Corey is someone who is committed to greatness, who is an unbelievable competitor, who does everything he possibly can do to be successful, and inspiring his teammates to be the same. And I think that's why he's a perfect fit for our organization. As I said, today's a very, very special day, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce our new shortstop, Corey Seager.
First off, thank you. A lot of kind words right there. I really do appreciate that. I want to thank my wife, Maddie, for always supporting me. Thank the family, both my brothers. Scott, thank you for everything you've done for me and Maddie and our family as well. And just again, thank the Rangers. This is a great opportunity for me and my family, and we're really looking forward to it.
Because of the sun. So we'll take questions. Please raise your hands. We'll start with Emily.
Corey, when you kind of entered into this process and knew that it was coming, where did this organization fit in did the relationship with Woody play into it a ton, I would assume? And kind of how did things evolve for you and for Maddie together as a family?
Yeah, it played a huge part. I've known Woody for a long time. He had both my brothers too. And knowing his drive, knowing his effort level that he put forward, and knowing how he wants to run a team and how his vision was for a team, it played a huge part. And then once I got in the room, hearing CY and hearing JD talk, and everybody was on the same page, everybody was aligned in their thinking, and it aligned with how me and Maddie approach our life, our team, our everything. So it was pretty impressive, and we were blown away leaving that meeting.
Such a young player, but to have had the experiences that you've had so far in your career, how valuable will those be now in trying to build and get to the ultimate destination here?
Yeah, absolutely. I was fortunate enough to be drafted by a team that won right away. You grow up fast, you learn how to be a professional, you learn how to do it the right way. We made that an important thing over there. Bringing a title back to LA was a huge accomplishment. Oh my goodness. Nervous if you can't tell. It was exciting for us. I'm not even gonna try to say the word again. But to be able to do that and to learn from those experiences and to be able to grow from those experiences and to be able to bring them over here, I'm very excited about it.
Let's go to Evan.
Corey, how did the Rangers present their case for you to come here to you? And there's some challenges. I mean, I think everybody understands that, but how did they present those challenges of what the team is facing, and how did that kind of sit with you?
They were straightforward. They were very open and honest about how many games they lost and where they're at in their organization right now, and where their vision is for the organization. And that's something that we wanted to embrace. That's something that I enjoy. I enjoy the work of it, the grind, the passion for the game, the do it the right way, and to have the right people. It always comes down to people, and these guys sitting up beside me are great people, and they have a great vision for this organization, and I was really excited to be a part of it.
Jeff.
Coming into this season, you were the all-time leader in home runs in this building. Seriously, what do you like about? What did you enjoy about hitting here? And then also, you won a World Series in this building. What does this place mean to you?
Yeah, it was a fun time in my career during that. We've seen the ball all right that little stretch to that postseason. But the place is great. They built a beautiful stadium. They built a beautiful clubhouse. They thought of everything you can think of to need to be able to perform that night. And it's inspiring. It shows you the direction they want to go. That they're all in. They're ready to move forward with this, and they're ready to turn this organization around. And it's exciting.
Chris.
Hey, Corey. Obviously, you played on a really good team with the Dodgers, but we just talked to Marcus, and the two of you up the middle. How do you feel going into that, being able to play alongside a player who's finished third in the MVP voting in the last two full seasons? Yeah,
how can you not be excited about that? Not only the elite player, elite person, carries himself well. He's a great teammate. There's not a bad word being said about Marcus Semien, and to be able to learn from somebody who's that talented and to take little things that he does in his game that I might not, to be able to bounce off each other and to be up the middle here for a long time is very exciting.
Nui.
For Corey, 10-year deal, what do you want to see? What has to be happening for you to make this a successful 10 years with the Rangers? And for Scott, are there any opt-outs in this contract at all?
Believing in the people. It always goes back to the people. Culture is built by people. And hearing these guys talk and knowing Woody and knowing what they're about and where they want to go, it really hit home. It's going to be a challenge. We got some work to do, and they've already done that. Going out and getting guys like Semien, like Cole, like John Gray. That's the first step in building a winning organization, is going out and getting guys to be leaders, know what it's like to be there, and to be able to perform and to change and to learn from each other and to teach younger guys. That's what it's all about here, and we're up for the challenge.
Let's go to Stefan.
John, we had a second
Oh,
half
I'm
to that
sorry.
question.
Ironically, the opt-out began in Texas, and for Corey and Maddie, their calling to me and direction was to opt into Texas, and they plan to be here for the full 10 years. No.
Okay, sorry, Stefan.
Corey, how important was the idea that this club, that you weren't just going to be the lone pillar taken in this offseason? How important was that aspect of it for you?
Sorry. Yeah, it probably was the most important. This is baseball. You need a lot of guys. One guy's not going to be able to carry a team like that. You can set a foundation and feel like you're guiding a team in the right direction, but it's going to take a lot more than one person.
Go back to Jeff, then over to Skylar.
Can you give a quick scanner report on what it's like to face John Gray?
He's good. Simple as that. He's effective. The way he mixes pitches, mixes speeds. He knows how to use his fastball. He doesn't have to rely on it if it's not there, but he knows how to use it when it is. He's a guy that he's kept me off balance kind of my whole career. It's been a little bit of a cat and mouse game with us so far, but it's a lot more exciting to be behind him than definitely in the batter's box.
Let's see, back over to Skylar.
Corey, how much did the impending lockout tonight and the deadline have to do with trying to get this decision done?
It really didn't. I wasn't really worried about doing it after, doing it before. It was just a great opportunity that fit me and my family and what we were looking for, and we jumped on it.
Evan? And I'll go to Levi.
So Corey, for you, and then I've got one for John and Chris, but the agreement with Marcus, how much more energy did that put into the talks between you and the Rangers? How much easier did it make for you to kind of make this commitment here?
Extremely, with all three of them so far. That was my biggest concern with them going in the meeting was it can't just be me. It takes a whole clubhouse. It takes going out and getting guys when you need them, and they've proven that so far, and it was really exciting to see.
And John and Chris, for both of you guys, when you did get Marcus to commit, and I know you had gotten Cole already, but when you got Marcus to commit, how much more did you feel like that drove further the talks that you were having with Corey and with John?
It didn't change anything on our side. It didn't change how we evaluated the situation or our interest level in Corey or other players that we were talking to. The feedback we were getting in our conversations with Scott was that it was meaningful, but it didn't really change anything on our side of things.
Okay, other questions? Levi.
All right, I'll start with a dumb one. Do you know Willie Calhoun from you guys' time together in
I do.
LA? How did that conversation go about you wearing number 5?
He was great about it. They reached out to me yesterday. He told me he was happy to give it to me, so I'm sure I'll find something to give him back.
All right. And then, Chris, I just wanted to hear from you, kind of, you guys' background together in LA and what specifically it was about Corey that made you sort of push for the team to go get him.
Yeah, I think when we started this process, I've always known when Corey was going to be a free agent. We've had many talks through our time in LA, and the thing that resonates with me is that we shared a common understanding of what it takes to build a champion and what a champion is. I saw it firsthand for 3 years. The kid never took a pitch off. He was 22 years old when I had him, and it was pretty remarkable considering how hard he worked, how much he wanted to improve. He wanted to prove to the world that he was a shortstop. He's 6'4". You don't see that very often. And just the dedication that he had on a daily basis, the no-nonsense approach, the way he played the game, obviously it always resonated with me. Obviously, he's, with the bat in his hand, he's pretty special. But I think off the field, the teammate that he always, wanted to be, the leader that he envisioned being. In LA, that we had a lot of guys there. We had a lot of guys that took that role on. But I've always challenged him that he's going to have to take that role. When I left, left him with some hopefully words of advice to try to, push him to kind of take on that role a little more. And, throughout this process, now that it's hard to believe he's in a Ranger uniform right now. I mean, I'm pinching myself a little bit, but there's so much that, that we share a common vision that this organization and the impact he's going to have, on the field, obviously with his performance, but, in the clubhouse is with a guy like Marcus Simeon, with a guy like Cole Calhoun, honestly, the sky's the limit. I've always thought highly of him. I felt a little bit going into the process that I was going to sound a little bit biased because I had him. So when we get into, meetings and, I'm pounding the table for this guy, and the thing that really, made me happy was that everybody in the organization had him as a top target as well. So that put my mind at ease that I didn't have to pound as hard. Our analytics department, JD, CY, everybody believed that this was the guy, this is the best player possible. Not just this year, but, in any year, to be frank. And obviously my personal relationship with him, knowing what he's capable of on and off the field is, I'm stunned that he's, up here with a Ranger uniform on.
Other questions? Jared?
Corey, I got two. Your brother spent his career playing in this division, obviously a lot of experience with the Rangers. Did you talk to him at all, and what sort of guidance did he give you about this organization?
Yeah, my brother's been great about that. He's kind of helped me throughout my career with college, with going professional. Anything that I've ever needed, he's kind of been there for me. And just to pick his brain again on a division he played in, an organization that he's played against for a long time, it was extremely beneficial to have him there.
Then you've developed into one of the best left-handed hitters against left-handed pitching. What would you attribute that to?
Just kind of keeping it simple. I have a simple approach to the game, and I try and not get too far away from it. There's a lot of numbers out there that are beneficial, and you take and you look at and you study, but at the end of the day, when it's time to go, you try and keep it as simple as possible.
Other questions? Back to Skylar.
Woody, this is similar to the other question about your background with Corey, but I think slightly different. What is it that you think's most important about all the time you all have together, all that background, as it comes to starting to try to build this winter and build this thing together?
I think it just helps, when you're around a guy for 3 years and you obviously coach a guy and you see, what they do every day, how they do it, how they treat people. I think that solidifies your opinion on them. Obviously, you build a database of like, okay, this is who this kid truly is. And I'll be honest with you, and I told him last night this, when we got into the meeting with him, I was pretty nervous going into that meeting, not because of what I was going to say, but what Corey was going to say, because I wanted JD and CY to see, and I wanted the people that we had in that meeting to see who Corey is. And I knew if they did, that they wouldn't be able to choose another player. And honestly, to his credit, he did. Matty I know pretty well, and hearing the way he spoke and the vision that he had, and how I know how personally, how invested he will be when we sign him, and how far we can take that. It was pretty special.
Jonah.
For Corey and Chris, if you could actually elaborate on your kind of personal friendship, relationship, maybe outside of baseball, how long y'all have known each other, family dynamics, and maybe what role that kind of played in you ultimately making this decision.
Well, I think he first met Kyle when you were still playing, and then he actually coached Justin first in the minor leagues, and Kyle in the big leagues with the Mariners, and then he came over in 16 with us with the Dodgers. So the whole family knows him. He got a taste of all three of us. Don't make him ask who his favorite is too. I don't know if I want to know. But no, it was a huge part. He's honestly one of my favorite people in baseball. Getting to know him over the years, picking his brain, how much he's helped me, how much he knew playing shortstop meant to me, and for him to have the same drive and the same effort that I did as a player was as a coach to help it was huge. You know, it made you trust him that much more and that much better, and knowing that he's gonna always try and help. You know, it might not be something you want to hear. It might be not how you think you should play, different positions, different plays, but having the faith and the trust in him to know that he's looking out for me and he thinks it'll be beneficial, and to trust that and to see it come to fruition and to be able to compete and everything like that. Just it was huge. You know, it was a huge part of this decision for me.
Let's go over to Evan and then Jeff.
John, can I answer that one too?
Oh, I'm sorry, sure.
You're good. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny how Justin was the first Seager I coached, and I coached all three. So it's pretty amazing to think that, like, and I know obviously the family well, know the parents well, and once you start to get to know, the inner workings of that family, you meet the parents and you realize, okay, I see why these kids are the way they are. Kyle was tough to coach. He would challenge you, same way Corey did. I'll never forget Corey. I asked him, he's standing up when he threw, and I wanted him to get to throw a little bit more uphill, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I need to say it a different way. And I think that's what I appreciated about all of them. They were very curious, but yet you had to come with truth, and I appreciated that as a coach. You never want to just have a player say yes, I got it, and then really not have it show up on the field. But they're very curious. Their attention to detail is like no other players I've ever been around. And just to get the honor to actually coach, and actually manage him now and share a vision with him, I can't wait to pour into teaching him how to lead and take that next step. Because what he does on the field and the person that he is he doesn't have to change a thing. Corey Seager can be the unapologetic Corey Seager that I've come to love, honestly. And I love that about him, and I don't want to change that about him. But I do want to challenge him in a lot of ways to take on some of the responsibility of how we're going to make a champion. Obviously, this city, this area has been dying for it. It's never happened here. And that is something that really resonated with him, and I know he can't wait to build a champion, and we're going to.
Evan?
For you, this team has committed $561 million this offseason, which I think is an MLB offseason record of free agency. Can you just put into context a little bit of what your feeling is on the amount of heavy lifting that the Rangers have done in one offseason, going from where they were to where they envision they will be?
The theories of winning in baseball are varied, and there is, for each cake that is built, there's a time to put the oven on and say the batter is ready to bake, I guess. And when you look at organizations and you look at things, I have a privilege of being around great players and getting to listen to this. You hope you see the theory of something that is based upon a number of factors, and that is probability, the player and character within a locker room to execute championship level play, the desire to develop players below that will provide the depth, and also the confidence from ownership down below that this is something that, while as difficult as it is, momentum flows. You achieve a goal of winning and getting to the playoffs, and then something happens, and then you come back the next year. But the idea of this is that it really isn't about what you do in a moment. It's more about, it just so happens in this moment that the right players were available to fit the design. Because I don't think this group would have taken the steps they've taken if the right players weren't there. For me, knowing what you want, knowing why you want it, and knowing how it fits the plan, it just so happened that these extraordinary men were available at one moment. I credit all of them that they didn't let that interfere with their goal. And most organizations probably would not take that step, even though they would want to. It says a lot that who they are, the players, and the fact that they really felt that this group was ready for them at one time.
And last question for John and maybe Woody, because both of you guys have used this word on multiple occasions today. You've used the word pillar, and I'm just curious how you would define pillar in these terms.
Would love to. I think when we use that word, when you use that word, I think you look at like just a stable force, you know, in the organization, and I think that what stands out to me, you know, with Corey and Marcus is they both want to be that. They're not shying away from that. There's a lot of great players in this game that I've played with, that I've coached, you know, that I've seen, that I've heard about, that don't want that responsibility. They don't want that. They'd rather just kind of do their own thing and be left to their, you know, devices and just, you know, hey, I'm going to go out and be a great player. But these guys are not only great players on the field but off the field, but they want to have an impact. When you hear a superstar player talk about building and wanting and desiring to build a championship, you're talking about, you know, the Tom Brady's of the world. You're talking about the Giannis's of the world. Like they're different. And for us to get two in a 24-hour time period, two that, you know, I personally believe are the best in the game at it, it's pretty remarkable. And so I think to answer your question, like a pillar is not something everybody wants to be. A lot of people don't desire that as a great player. And the fact that these guys want that and have come here to be that speaks volumes of who they are.
Jeff.
In anticipation of a stoppage, have the Rangers given you any programs to follow or anything they want you to work on? And then also, isn't it kind of weird that you've got this new team, you're not going to be able to talk to anybody?
Yeah, you know, me and Woody were talking about that yesterday. It's funny, you know, you're signing and then the next day you're shut out. But, you know, they've been great. They've been up front with me from the start. I know what to expect from them. They know what to expect from me, and I think we have a great relationship in that. They know I'm going to come prepared. They know I want to be prepared, and we're going to do everything to be prepared.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you very much.